I'm live. Wow. For a very expensive camera, it really has a very expensive computer. It really has a very terrible camera. And my skin looks awful. Well, I'm a little bit red. That's how it goes when you're a celebrity vlogger with 1 million subscribers, almost. I'm no Baldwin bankrupt, not yet. Let's see if I can fix the lighting here. I'm wearing my, today guys, I'm wearing my romantic shirt because we're going to talk about romance. We're going to talk about dating, love and dating. Love and dating in Colombia and in all of the developing countries of the world where single, lonely men go to find love in a place they figure is going to be much, much easier than in their home country. Here's a little story, and this story is going to tell the story of many men around the world. Okay, so you have a man. He gets married, or he has a girlfriend, maybe his high school sweetheart, or someone he was introduced to at the staff Christmas party. And he's with this girl, this woman, for a number of years, and eventually she starts to not love him anymore. It doesn't take very long in some instances, but inevitably they break up, they get divorced, and he hits rock bottom. Hey, Zach, how you doing, man? What seal to doing work, but tell them about all the strange. Oh yeah, you want me to tell your story? Maybe I will. Maybe I'll tell your story. So the man gets divorced, or he just can't find love. He can't find a woman in his own country. Can you guys hear me okay? Let me know, because last time there was no audio. So he can't find a girlfriend, or he gets divorced, and he hears from all these other people, hey man, if you go to Thailand, or if you go to Colombia, or Vietnam, or Bali, or somewhere in the world, Mexico, women are way easier, and they're more feminine. This is like the common story. They're more feminine, and they have all these traits that Western women don't have. They're better. They're sexier. They like guys a lot better. Hey, Luisa Fernanda. Hola. And yeah, so I don't want to scare you guys, about the peligroso nature of mujeres in Colombia and Mexico and Thailand, but I'm going to tell the truth about many, many men's experiences, hopefully so that you guys don't go down the same path. So Western guy struggles. He can't seem to get a date. He can't get a girlfriend, or he's getting flaked on. Tinder's not working. And so he flies to Thailand, and he gets on Tinder. Or he's usually, what they're doing is they get on one of these dating apps before they even go. And then they go, oh, wow, all the women are liking me. I have 60 matches in the first day. And they meet some beautiful woman, and she says, oh, I can't wait to see you. My mama is sick. This is a classic. My mama is sick. This is the first scam we're going to talk about. My baby needs milk, and my mama is sick. My daddy has a disease, and he needs money for the hospital. So what they'll do is you'll have some guy who's like 60 years old, and he matches with a girl who's like 20 years old with gigantic breasts, big puffy lips, and the most beautiful dove-like eyes that he's ever seen. And she says, all I really need is $30 to buy my baby some milk. And so the guy goes, oh, what's that? $30? That's nothing, right? And he sends her $30. And she says, you know what? Actually, the mafia has kidnapped my baby, and I need $600 or they're going to kill my baby. See, here's a picture of my baby and a terrorist with the gun to the head of the baby. No, Manuel, I'm in Colombia now. I'm in Medellin. And so they will ask for money. The moral of the story is some desperate, lonely guy meets women online from other countries, and they have all these requests for money. Their iPhone broke. Their baby needs milk. Their mama is sick. These are all the common ones. Okay, so the guy might even be sending them money over a period of years. When I was in Cambodia, I was friends with a guy who was dating a Cambodian girl, and her sister used to have a brand new iPhone 6 at the time. The iPhone 6 was like the best phone. So I said, how does she get an iPhone 6? The average wage here is like not very much, a few dollars a day, $10 a day or something. And her sister told me, well, she has a wealthy boyfriend from America. Actually, she has multiple boyfriends from America, and whenever she needs a bill paid, they pay her bill. Fair enough, right? So I just had a friend who just arrived, and he said, Tony, oh my God, the women here are so beautiful, you know. And one of these women, I met on Tinder. She really wants to come meet me, but she just needs $60 to get a plane ticket from her town to come to Medellin. I said, no. This is the oldest trick in the book. Okay, so you arrive in the country, you're on Tinder or whatever dating app, and you meet some girl that's 16 kilometers away, 60 miles away, and she says, all I need is $100 to fly in and see you. All I need is a little bit of money so I can get a babysitter for my baby. My mom is really sick and I can't come see you unless I have someone to take care of her. I just need like $200 and I can come see you. This is the first biggest scam that most guys fall for. And most of the guys who fall for this are usually really, really nice. And they don't have a lot of experience dating beautiful women. But they've heard from everybody that if you go to this country of Colombia, you're going to have the most beautiful women in the world, and they're going to love you because you're a gringo, because you're from Australia or you're a Canadian, and they don't like the local guys. They want a foreign guy. Yeah, so rule number one, if you've got very little experience with women, especially with beautiful women, and you've got some like woman who might be like a supermodel in your hometown who is now just incredibly interested in you. She just met you on Facebook or Instagram or Tinder or Colombian Cupid, and now she's calling you baby and she's calling you daddy, and all she really needs is just a little bit of money so that she can come see you or something like this. This is a scam. Guaranteed. If you are a 60-year-old, oh, what am I drinking? I'm drinking Club Colombia. It's my favorite beer here in Colombia. It's dark. I find Aguila is really like just a shitty Pilsner. Yeah. So yeah, sad. It's too good to be true. It's never that easy. Okay, so I'm going to go into some darker stuff. We can talk about the gold diggers later if you guys want. But I'm going to talk about some of the darker stuff. I'm going to talk about the druggings, the kidnappings, and the rapes that happen here in Colombia. And I don't want to tell you this to scare you, but it's just I keep hearing stories about it over and over and over, and it's something that's so easy to avoid if you just have a little bit of common sense and if you're aware of yourself, aware of your surroundings, and aware of who you're dealing with. Right. So there's a drug in Medellin called Scopolamine, and people call it Scope. So if you hear someone say, oh, I know someone who got scoped, they're talking about this drug, Scopolamine. Vice magazine did a documentary about it. And it's a tree called, I have the Wikipedia here, but you can just look it up. But I'll just read the Wikipedia page. Scopolamine, also known as hyoscine or devil's breath, is a naturally or synthetically produced tropane alkaloid, an anticholinergic drug that is formerly used as a medication for treating motion sickness. So this tree is used for motion sickness, this drug, and it comes from a tree that I can't find the name of the tree right now, but this tree grows all around Medellin and all around Colombia, and it's very, very common. It's very easy to obtain. I actually think that this documentary that Vice did about devil's breath made it even worse for travelers because it made more people aware of it. But the drug that's derived from this tree, when it's administered either through the skin or if it's inhaled, or if it's ingested somehow through a drink, it turns you into a zombie. Yeah, a literal zombie. People are downvoting me. Don't talk bad. Well, this is the reality of life here, okay? So suffer. So what happens is you'll meet a girl on Tinder. This is the most common way this happens to men, is you meet a woman on Tinder, you go out for drinks with her, and when you're not looking, she drops a little scopolamine in your drink. Usually they want to come straight back to your house. So you'll say, hey, I want to go on a date with you. And they say, oh, we don't need to go on a date. I'll just come straight to your hotel. Where's your apartment? Are you in an Airbnb? And when you're not looking, they'll pour you some drinks and they'll put some of this in your drink. And as soon as you drink it, in a few minutes, you become a zombie. To the outside observer, you don't look like you're drugged. You don't look like you're drunk. You don't look like you're high. You look totally normal, except you will do anything they ask. If they say, hey, Greg, what's your bank account number? Oh, you're my good friend, because everyone seems like a really good friend when you're on Scopolamine. Oh, you're my good friend. It's 452-769. No problem. Hey, Greg, let's walk down to the bank machine. Lucinda here is going to stay and watch your apartment while we go to the bank machine. So while you go down to the bank machine and you take out your maximum daily limit and hand it over to the people who drugged you, the girls back at your house or the guys back at your house filling up their bag with everything that you own. And because a lot of men actually have daily limits on their bank accounts, what'll happen is they will sometimes hold you for multiple days, and they'll just keep administering this drug, and you become their slave. And so this drug is really scary. It's a scary, scary thing, because you lose track of all reality. Plus, you don't remember anything that happened. You're completely compliant and submissive. You'll do anything anyone asks, and no one knows you're high. Terrifying, right? So again, this is how it usually happens, and this is what you guys need to pay attention to. Tinder dates. Tinder dates. You're a freaking nerd who's slept with 2 girls in your whole life, and you come to Colombia and you got 96 matches on Tinder. Most of them are prostitutes. I hate to say it, but it's true. Most of them will be girls who at the last minute, when you say, hey, can we meet up? They're going to go, well, okay, but I'm actually an escort, and I want to come to your room, and it's going to be this much amount of money. And then you say, oh, no, thank you. Not saying all the girls on Tinder are prostitutes. There are a lot of good girls out there. But if you're some guy who's just like an average Joe, and she's like a supermodel and all of her pictures are her in bikinis showing her, butt cheeks off, she's probably a working girl. If she's like one of the hottest women you've ever seen, and Colombia has some crazy beautiful women. I'm not saying all the women you're going to meet on Tinder are prostitutes, because there's like crazy beautiful women here. Loads of women who are totally normal, who are not going to scam you. Wonderful, wonderful people. But you're going to meet the odd girl who's going to be so hot, and your little wiener is going to say, oh, you won the lottery, Jimmy. Let's go meet this girl. And what she's usually going to say if she's a scammer is, oh, I'd love to meet you. Can my friend come? This is a very common red flag. Can my friend come? Well, the friend is the accomplice. The friend is the one that's going to come into your apartment and steal your passport and your DVD player if you're from 1996. Whatever. They're going to pack up your stuff while someone else goes with you to the bank machine. So as soon as they ask, can my friend come? Big red flag. Another red flag. What you should always be doing when you meet these girls is asking, hey, do you have a Facebook I can see? Do you have a Instagram I can see? So girls are some of these scammers are getting a bit smart, and what they'll do is they'll send you an Instagram. It'll have 22 pictures of them in bikinis with no shots of friends, families, pets, no distinguishing landmarks, nothing that can give away if they're even a real person or not. So you want to check and see, do these girls actually have friends and things that prove to you that they're a real girl, a real woman. Never let your first date be at your apartment. So this just happened to my roommate a few months ago. He's met a girl on Tinder, and he's no loser. He's dated a lot of women in Colombia. He's been here for 3 years. He's never had this happen. This was the first time. But he had a girl come to his room, and he was a bit suspicious because she was dressed a bit provocatively, more than like a good girl might dress on a first date, in your bedroom. And he had his rum out. And when he went downstairs to get some ice, she had poured the drinks. And he came back and he went, oh, what? And he was wise to it, right? But he took his drink and he switched it with hers and watched her, and she didn't drink it. So right away he said, you know what? I'm not feeling so good. You got to go. Kicked her out. So the danger is real, guys. And I'm not here to terrify you, but let's talk about solutions. How can you meet good girls? Really, really screen them. And even if it seems like she seems normal, you still have to be careful here, because I have a new friend I made, and he was in Cali. He met someone on Tinder. They hung out for 3 days before he got scopolamined. So this person really built up trust with him. And then on the 3rd day, he woke up. He said he didn't remember what happened or where he was, and all his stuff was gone. His computer, his phone, his passport, all his money, bank cards, credit cards, all gone. And this is a person who had built trust with him over 3 or 4 days. Right? So let me look at some of the comments here, because they've been rolling by. You the best. Well, thank you, Daniel. You're the best. Thanks for coming in. What you drinking? Already talked about that. Drinking Club Colombia, my favorite, and it's dark. It's a dark beer. They have a light, but I really prefer this one. Sabonero Tree. Daniel, thank you. So it's called the Sabonero Tree, and it grows all over the place. I was reading on Wikipedia, and actually intelligence agencies have used this as a truth serum, but they said they stopped using it because of the dangerous side effects. Because, yeah, if you get too much scopolamine, you can die. But I highly doubt they stopped using it. I'm pretty sure the CIA would use it. I'm pretty sure all the intelligence agencies would use this drug because it's so powerful. It's a drug you can give to someone, and they'll completely trust you and give you all the information you want because you're their best friend. Apparently, it's a very euphoric feeling, and you just trust people. But also, when it wears off, you don't remember anything. Isn't that like a crazy, crazy drug? It almost sounds like it shouldn't be real, but it is. And there's videos of it. And there's a Facebook group here. If you go to like Medellin Facebook groups called Scopolamine Victims Colombia. And there's lots and lots of stories, lots of advice on how to avoid it. It's a drug that makes you susceptible to suggestions. Yeah, not just susceptible to suggestions, but like a zombie. Like you'll literally do anything. And a lot of women get sexually assaulted with this drug as well, because you can just say, "Hey, we're gonna have sex." Okay, up go the legs. And then they don't remember anything. It's really terrible. Ben, did she come back with a pimp or gang? Yeah, that's what happens. Well, what they'll do is you'll meet someone on Tinder, and if say wherever they meet you, they'll say, "Hey, can my friend come?" And so you might meet them, and they might be texting all the time. "Oh, my friend wants to come. My friend wants to come." And that's usually someone who's going to help drug you when you're not looking. You might be distracted talking to her, and while that's happening, they're putting it in your hamburger or something like that. So you got to be aware that you don't want to date anyone else. So when you date the girls, one, you want to do background checks on them. Two, you want to see their ID. I don't give a fuck. Take a picture of their ID. Send it to your friends. Let people know, okay, I'm dating this girl I met off Tinder. Three, don't use Tinder. Use like Bumble maybe, or Colombian Cupid. We'll talk about other countries after this if you want, where this stuff happens. Not with scopolamine, but just other common scams that you can get into if you're a single guy traveling to the promised land of beautiful women where it's easy to get girls and all this and all the problems that comes with that. I just got in. Did you just meet a crazy girl lately? No, I haven't met it. I've met nothing but nice, wonderful women here. Honestly, I haven't had any bad experiences, but I keep meeting people who have had them. Right? My friend who is like really, really naive, and he's an older man, you know, like nearing his twilight years, and he was telling me, "Tony, oh, look at all the matches I'm getting on Tinder. This one girl, she's so beautiful. I've been talking to her. She just needs $60 to get a plane ticket to fly to Medellin and meet me." And I said, "Bro, do not give them any money. As soon as someone asks for money, this is going way beyond, like, it's not dating. You haven't even met somebody and you're asking them for money already. They want a sugar daddy. They want a sucker, right? Get them on video chat. Say, "Hey, let me talk to you on video chat first," because most of them will scram. Another way to make them scram is to ask if they have a social media, Facebook, Instagram, and a lot of them, they'll bail after that, or they'll say, "Actually, I'm a prostitute. Are you interested?" Another thing you got to watch out for are transvestites. I'm not so sure about here in Medellin. I see a lot of transvestites around the neighborhood, but in places like Thailand, they are some of the prettiest girls. Yeah, you will see, you'll see them and think, "Wow, what a beautiful girl." And this is really funny because it's not really a scam, but it's kind of like taking advantage, isn't it? So you'll be at the club dancing, you're drinking a little bit, you're having fun. Oh, wow, you're getting all this attention from this beautiful woman. Oh, she's got such strong thighs. Why are they so stiff? Ooh, does she work out? You're making out with this girl. You don't even know until you get back home when she, pulls out her thingy and says, "Just so you know, I'm actually a guy. I'm a lady boy. Is that okay?" A bit late, right? That's very, very common in Asia, in Thailand at least. Not so much in Vietnam, but in Thailand, this happens so often, and it's kind of funny. You don't want to laugh at these guys, but what you want to look for are the hands, right? If they have big, strong hands, or Adam's apple. But even now, the girls, they get a shave on their Adam's apple, and they can change their voice. They're masters of sounding so feminine. And they act more feminine than women. Like women, when you see a woman and she's like, she knows how to walk and she knows how to move her body and stuff. This is something they practiced, okay? Women aren't naturally born just with hips that flow like this when they walk and when they fling their hair. This is shit they practice. The ladyboys, the transvestites, they are the masters of moving and talking like women. So if they're like the best woman you've ever met, chances are they're not a woman. Here's something you got to pay attention to. Like, is it too good to be true? Is it like, wow, this girl I just met online is so amazing and beautiful. I can't believe she's into me. She's already calling me Poppy. She wants to fly to my house and meet me, right? All she has to do is just get a little bit of money to take care of her sick mother so she can come. It's too good to be true. You know, you're a virgin and all of a sudden you got a 10, a perfect 10 that just wants to be with you, only you. It's too good to be true. You're 70 years old and now you got a 20-year-old supermodel who's in all these bikini pictures, has, you know, like the perfect body, and now she just wants to be with you. You go to the club. You've never really picked up a girl in the club, and now you're in Thailand and this girl's all over you. All you said was hello. She's laughing at you. Oh, you're so funny. It's too good to be true. Check your wallet. Here's another common scam. I almost got pickpocketed the other night on the 70. La Setenta, it's a street here just down the road from me. And so I'd heard about the pickpockets and people had warned me about the pickpockets. But I was with my buddy and we're walking down the road and it's raining out. I have my umbrella, so it's pretty dark, and this usually happens at night. And one of these guys, a little short guy, came running up to me with they have a tray that they hold in front of them with like a bunch of chiclets and candy bars and stuff like that. And he came charging straight at me, but I noticed, because I'm really good with body language, right? So he had really big eyes. Like he was like, it was like the shoplifter look. So I was like, this guy's up to something. And I looked over my left shoulder and there was a girl, and she was dressed up like some kind of streets fun, like those girls who promote drinks and stuff, like a promoter or something. And she was coming from the back, and she also had the eye. So right away I was like, whoa, I was watching her and watching him. And my friend was watching her as well. And so as soon as the guy got close to me, he got in my personal space. And I looked down because I heard about this, and his hand was underneath. His tray was held up by a string on his neck, and his hand was going underneath into my pocket. I just pushed his hand. I said, fuck off, man. And he turned around and he booted, and she booted it out in a different direction. They just scattered. So yeah, a lot of times the beautiful women in these places where there's a lot of partying, usually on Friday, Saturday nights in parks like Parque Eris, they're pickpockets. And this is very common all over the world. In Asia, it's happened to me many times. The beautiful women will come up and they'll try to put their boobs on you. Right away, be suspicious. Is this too good to be true? Is this beautiful woman just coming straight at me? She's never met me and she just wants to rub her body on me. She's a pickpocket. So, okay, so on that note, don't give random strangers money who you meet on the internet, ever, no matter how much you think they like you. It's just too good to be true. At no point should a woman who has any interest in you romantically ever ask for money until after you've slept together. Then it's almost mandatory, isn't it? Even then. Okay, so I've dated women who made significantly less money than me, and I have no problem like buying someone dinner, taking someone out for drinks, buying them a present if I like them, just like, I've had many women do that for me too. But if you're coming from a country where you have, say, $40,000, $50,000 in the bank, or even $10,000 in the bank, you have more money than they've ever seen in their life. Just think about that. The average wage in Colombia is like, $6 an hour. So you come into the country, on vacation for 2 weeks, you've got 20 grand in the bank. This is like enough to completely change someone's life here. What they could do with $5,000 would blow your mind in this country. So you're coming in and you're a completely different economic class. Even though you just feel like a normal guy coming from your country, here your value is so high. And that's why it's kind of amazing to be a guy coming here to date as well. Because you're exotic. You're from a different country. You're from a place with more freedom, more economic wealth, more prosperity, more opportunity. So of course the women are going to be interested in dating you. You still got to have some game. You got to be a cool guy. You got to be a fun guy, a confident guy. But you also have to have your guard up. It's like I've met lots of famous people in my life. I've met celebrities, I've met rock stars, movie stars, and for many reasons. I'm an old guy and I've always been in entertainment. I've worked as a journalist. I've been a musician playing in bands, and I do my life coaching, and very wealthy guys hire me. And I've worked in the movies. And so when someone is very high status, people just start acting funny around them. And this is what makes famous people insecure, is that they feel like no one really likes them. They can't trust anybody. Kendrick Lamar said in his video, I feel like everybody around me just wants to be famous, right? They just want something. So, you got to be a little bit suspicious when you're coming into a country where you make like 20 times what they make, and you work as a server in a restaurant back home. You might not feel rich, but you are, right? So there's a lot of great people in like Colombia, for example. Like some of my roommates, they're very, very hardworking people, and they're doing great. Like one girl, she works in a call center. She's always hustling. She's teaching people. Another girl upstairs teaches English online. One guy is like a professional gambler and works with Bitcoin and stuff like that. Everyone's got their hustle. And I think that's amazing. But you have to be aware that there are people that if you're naive and you're coming from a country where things are safe and cool, and you don't really need to worry about scammers, everyone's kind of equal. It's not the same when you go to like the Philippines or you go to, Ukraine. These countries that are famous for having beautiful women who are very interested in dating foreigners. Everybody wants something, whether that's you as a man wanting to be with a beautiful woman, and you want to go somewhere where it's easier to date beautiful women. That's great. Nothing wrong with that, because there's places women go to meet rich men, more interesting men. When I was in a band, I knew women who would go to punk rock shows because I was in a punk rock band, and they would go there specifically to meet the guys in the band because they only wanted to date guys in the bands. Why? Because they wanted to be part of the scene. They wanted to be part of that scene where they got to go to the shows for free. They got to go backstage. They got to meet the rock stars. They got to hang out with the cool people. That's totally fine, right? When you go to another country, sometimes there's going to be women who want to date you just because you're from another country, and they think that's fascinating. And they would love to go to your country, and they'd love to hang out with the people that you know and practice their English or whatever. That's totally fine. But there's also going to be the women that go, oh, this is my green card. This is my path to, I'm going to scam this guy and get money. He's a loser. He's a nerd, and I'm going to steal his money. Maybe I'll have to sleep with him once or twice. No problem. And you got to be vigilant, to be aware of this. Don't be afraid. I don't want you traveling the world with fear in your heart. But you got to not travel the world with such an innocent naivety. Don't be so naive. Do not leave your drink with people you've only known for a couple days. Doesn't mean don't be social, but you should have some backup. If you're going to have a date coming over to your place and you don't know her, you met her on Tinder, tell the security guy. Tell your friends, hey, I'm going to check in with you at 10 p.m. I got a girl I met on Tinder coming out. If you don't hear from me, something's wrong. See, most of the places in the Western world, women are the ones that are concerned. They're like, I don't want to get date raped. And there's all this pressure, not pressure, but there's a lot of media telling women, like, it's so hard. You got to be careful. It's dangerous. Well, for the rest of the world, it's the same thing for men. You got to have street smarts. How do you develop street smarts? You develop it usually through experience. People tell you what happened to them. Now, I don't want Colombians to come on here and say, oh, you're talking shit about my country. Listen, man, if I lived with an alcoholic uncle and every time my friends came over, he walked out of his room naked and started swinging his pecker around and yelling like Trump 2029 and insulting everyone or whatever, I would probably warn people, just so you know, my uncle's kind of crazy when he gets into the rye or the Club Colombia. That's all I'm saying, right? I love Colombia so far, especially Medellin. It's the dopest city. It's so fun here. The people are so nice. The women are freaking beautiful and friendly, and there's a lot of culture, and I can't wait to explore the rest. But you men are so freaking naive. You're so naive. Traveling the world, you're like babies, and these women are street smart, and they see you from a mile away, and they go, I'm going to take advantage of this fool. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. Anything in life that's really great, you got to earn it. You've got to earn it. That includes being able to date the most attractive women. If you want to be rich, you got to earn it. But a lot of people, they just want to take it. Even their skill as scammers, they earn that because they can go to prison, they can go to jail, they can get beat up or killed for doing this kind of thing, right? It's very risky. Someone came up the other day and was trying to beg off me on the street, and I was with my friend, and we both got kind of annoyed because there's a lot of poverty here, right? There's a lot of poverty. And I just said, bro, you know how you don't want them to sell you shit? Well, they don't want to be selling that shit either, much more. They would rather not be selling papayas on the street. I'm sure there's shit they would much rather be doing. And he was like, yeah, good point. These girls who are ripping you off, they don't want to be doing that. They don't want to be gold digging, right? But they're in a situation where it's really difficult to make money. It's so hard to get ahead. And it's so easy to take advantage of some wide-eyed gringo who looks at a beautiful girl and just opens up his wallet. Oh, I love you too. How could you not take advantage of someone that's just like a baby when you know they can go back to their country and just make more money? It's not necessarily an evil thing. It doesn't make people evil, right? In Asia, they have a saying, like, I don't know what it is, but in the culture, it's like if someone's dumb enough to let you scam them, then it's their fault. Because us Westerners, we come from a very soft society. We have everything provided for us, and most people have no idea how hard it is for most of the world just to get by, just to make some money. I could say like, oh, why don't they just learn how to code websites? It's not like that. What if you can't even afford a phone? There's people here I see with flip phones. Actually, in Colombia, most people have smartphones, right? But in a lot of these countries, Asia and Latin America, everyone buys things on payment plans because they want to look rich, right? And that's part of the status, to look rich. But if you see, okay, here's another warning sign. You meet a girl and she's got an iPhone 11X, like whatever the newest iPhone is. How did she get $1,100 to pay for this phone? Right? She's probably a prostitute or a scammer. Or she's on a long-term payment plan. Okay, I'm not saying everybody is like a scammer that has an iPhone, but you got to look for these signs and not silly. Ben, you ever felt nervous walking around? Yeah, Ben. When I first got to Medellin, you can actually see it in my first travel videos. I was really nervous. Now my guard's way down. Actually, it's probably too much down because, I'm in a big city with a lot of poverty. Things could happen. But in the daytime, I feel 100% safe here. But I've heard a lot of stories, and I don't want to talk shit about the city, but yeah, there's people getting jacked quite often. Whenever I talk about it, though, angry people come on the channel and they say, yeah, but this happens in America. This happens in New York. This happens everywhere. If you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. But here they have a saying called don't give papaya. Don't go into a sketchy neighborhood drunk at 3 a.m. acting like a dumb gringo, waving your iPhone around, because shit's going to happen. For sure. People are going to see that and go, oh, this is easy pickings. When I was a kid, when I was like 17, I was hanging out with a bunch of friends, and we were walking through a neighborhood in the suburbs of Vancouver. And I was with 4 or 5 friends, including a girl, and we saw this drunk guy come stumbling past us. There's nobody around, just crickets, in the suburb. This guy was literally like kind of drunk, and one of the hood rats I was hanging out with said, hey, let's jump that guy. And everyone was like, ooh, yeah. And none of us were criminals. But it just seems so easy, This guy giving papaya, he's got his wallet hanging out. We're all 17 years old. And we're thinking it'd be so easy. Who's going to know? And this is before they had cameras everywhere. And we were about to go and just rob this guy. And I stopped. I got into the mindset too. Like, yeah, let's rob him. And I said, what the fuck am I doing? No, I'm not. I'm not going to do that. I have a job, right? Is it worth getting caught stealing some guy's $100 to lose my job and my lifestyle and get put in juvenile detention for a year? That could have altered my entire path in life just for going to jail. So I really believe in karma. And even when I get desperate, I will never steal. When I was a kid, I stole a bicycle. And okay, this is what I did. Mom, if you're watching, I'm sorry, but here's the truth of my story. I was hanging out with some bad kids. And they said, hey, Tony, we just got to stop at our friend's house and grab some. I just got to grab something from my friend's house. It was some native guys I was hanging out with. In Penticton, we have a lot of native reserves. And a lot of the natives are pretty badass dudes. And anyway, I used to hang out with them. And one of the native guys said, I got to stop at my friend's house. I just have to grab something. So I'm waiting outside, and then he hops over the fence and he tosses me a mountain bike with a lock on the wheel. I'm like, huh, what? What the hell? And he says, yeah, it's my friend's bike. We're just going to take it down the road. And then he hopped over with a bike and he grabbed another bike and tossed it to my other friend, just so calmly, like nothing, no big deal. Okay, so we started carrying it, and he started running. And so we're all running down the road in the dark, holding these bicycles. We go up this elevator, open the room. There's like a sketchy looking dude in a dirty room. Everyone's sitting around smoking bong hits. And I was like 15 or 16. And the guy gives him the bike, one of the bikes. And the guy in return gave us a big chunk of hash, which is marijuana, And okay. Then the guy that I was with gave me a chunk of the hash. And he said, that's for you. And it was about $20 worth of hash. I'm 15. So I'm like, woo, thanks. I didn't really clue in that I'd just stolen someone's bicycle, but I knew I did. I never said anything, right? But anyway, a day later, I didn't have any way to smoke the hash. And me and my friends wanted to smoke it. We had no money. So I was in this grocery store. And of course, I'm like looking around all guilty, like with the guilty eyes. And I took this lighter, a little Bic lighter, and I walked out of the store with it. I got snatched right away. This security guard saw me, boom. And I got taken to jail that day, and my mom was absolutely incredibly mad at me. When I was in the jail, I actually saw one of my good friends, his name written on the wall, like John was here. Anyway, moral of the story, it woke me up. Like, it was not worth it to steal any of that shit just for the little bit of hash I got, and now I've got a criminal record. Like, forget about it. But for a lot of people, when you have no other choice, no way to get ahead, and you see some dumb gringo coming through who's just mesmerized by their breasts and their big doe eyes, they'll do anything. They'll buy, all I need is a new bicycle. Sure, I'll buy you an iPhone. I'll buy you anything you want. And they'll just take advantage of you. And now if you're not going to give your money to you, a lot of them will just take it with this drug. So you got to always be vigilant and be skeptical of people. I hate to say that, but it's true. You guys coming around the world looking for easy love, the love is there. And there's women who want to meet you too. They want a better life. They want to date a man like you. But you also got to know there's people who are going to take advantage of you if you're too nice. And most of you, the same reason you can't get a girlfriend in your home country, the women aren't different in these other countries. You have something they want. Whatever that is, right? It's freedom. Or maybe you're exotic, you're different. And that's okay. I got my fade coming back in. It's growing back in. What do you think? I'm wearing my romance shirt. But let's talk about love. Let's talk about actual great experiences. I've dated women all over the world and never had a problem. I've never had a girl scam me or rip me off or drug me or anything like that. I've been in scary situations before, but I think most people in the world are good. And most people only want to be friends with you. They only want to help you out. They only want to find love, just like you do. Have sex, have fun, find love. But be vigilant and be aware of your surroundings, and don't be a dumbass. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. And for you gay boys, it's the same thing. Okay, so this happens to gay guys on Tinder a lot as well, here in Colombia and other places in the world. Overall, I'd say be very careful with Tinder. But my roommate, he's a lover. He's meeting plenty of girls on Tinder and having a great time. But that one time, he left his drink there and she poured his drinks. You got to be like, whoa, what's up with that? Why would you pour the drink? Use common sense. Look at all the downvotes, all these offended Colombians. Well, it's not my problem, Colombians, if you're offended by my truth speaking. I'm still here in your country having a good time. And a lot of men are coming here for sex tourism, by the way, because prostitution is legal in Colombia. And so you can go on a website and get a prostitute and stuff like this. And a lot of guys have said this is actually safer than Tinder, to go and actually just pay a girl and go to her place or something. But if you're a single guy and you want to come to Colombia and meet good girls, just be social. Maybe not in bars and nightclubs. Nightclubs, there's a lot of pickpockets, a lot of druggings. You got to be careful. If you're by yourself, bring a wingman, bring a group of friends to watch your back. Be like a bunch of young girls in America. You know, you'll hold on to each other to make sure no boy steals you. You got to be like protecting yourself from bad girls here. But if you want to meet nice girls, meet them in the daytime. Make friends and go out in social circles. Go to language exchanges, you know, like meetup groups or salsa classes. Although I heard here at the salsa nights, that's actually where a lot of the prostitutes hang out too, because salsa is, or not salsa, reggaeton. Reggaeton bars are supposed to be kind of sketchy. But if you got friends, you got backup, you got people to watch your back, you're going to be okay. Yeah. So guys, unless you have any questions or comments, I'm going to leave it at that. Hope I haven't terrified you out of traveling now or scared you out of dating. Yeah, I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers pretty soon. I promise not to change once I'm famous. When I hit 1,000, yeah, I promise not to change. Okay, adios. Hasta luego.